Francis goes back to Columbus. Can you just talk about what you guys got out of him and what he was like here as a pro and what you can maybe do with that 50K?
Waylon was a guy that we brought in to compete for the starting left back job. As it played out, he wasn't able to win that job, and so we looked to recoup our investment. And we feel like we're really strong at left back. We have Brad Smith and Nuhu, both two guys that are starting level players that have started in this league and started arguably even at leagues that are better than this. So we feel good about that position. We had an extra player, and Waylon was interested in getting a bigger opportunity, and so we were able to accommodate everybody here. I think it's a win-win.
Now that you got that money, any specific areas on this team that you're interested in maybe using it?
We're always looking to improve everywhere. I mean, we're still in preseason mode, and I think you still may see some things in and some things out. And what we do is free up a bunch of salary cap space. From our perspective, it's $250,000 swing because you have Waylon's salary plus the amount of money you get. So the 50K is less significant than is the ability to plug and play in terms of salary cap going forward.
What does Nuhu have to do to take a step forward from where he was last year, in your mind?
I mean, the kid was starting playoff games for us, so I'd say it's a heck of a step forward. There's going to be a competition, and the coaching staff will decide the winner of that. But we're happy. Nuhu's here. He's in camp, and so we're excited about this season. Again, feel good about that position.
While he was starting a playoff game because his main competitor was injured, what does he have to do to take a step forward and maybe be the #1 guy at that position?
I think that he's going to come and work every day, and that's what he did. He didn't stop competing when we signed Brad Smith, and Brad got some games in front of him, but it was a period of I think about a month when it was maybe Brad's job, and that leaves the other 8 or 9 months where it was at least arguably Nuhu's job. So again, I think it's going to be a competition. I think that both guys are good, and it's one of those things that's a great measure of the progress of MLS. I mean, it's really hard to find left backs anywhere in the world, and to have two guys that you think can legitimately start at a high level, it's a really good problem to have, if nothing else.
Speaking of that, you've got both of them, but obviously Smith is set to maybe go back to the UK in the summer. Are you confident with the depth you have below them as far as USL, or are you going to look to maybe pick up another left back prospect as we go forward here?
Yeah, I mean, guys, I'd love to have 3-4 guys at every position, but the reality in MLS is if you got 2 starters, that's a lot. And so, yes, if you lose a starter, we'd probably seek to replace them, but right now we got 2 starters, so 2 is good, and we're good, and if something changes, we'll change.
The club announced last week that Jordy DeLem and Kelvin both have their green cards now. This is something that seems to be kind of a common theme with international players that come to the Sounders. Not to discount the value of domestic players, but can you talk about how much it's worth getting those guys their green cards and freeing up international roster slots?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, to be honest, I think we're going to spend those spots certainly this season. So, I would say this. Yes, we're doing a good job of cycling through and these guys achieving domestic status in a reasonable amount of time. It's absolutely necessary in terms of how we want to plan the team going forward. So those spots they're certainly both already spoken for in terms of our off-season planning. That doesn't mean that something is imminent, but it's certainly very helpful, and we had hoped to have both spots before the end of the season, such that we had maximum flexibility in terms of what we wanted to do in terms of adding players at the beginning of the season or in the summer.
There was a rumor that Gustav Svensson's also close to getting his green card. Can you confirm if he's
on
track?
Nope, not on the track. There are some guys that we pursue it with and some we don't. Gustav is one that we did not pursue it with.
What was the report back from California talking to the coaches from preseason?
We don't want to lose 7-1 every game. We figure that'll be a good goal going forward. But no, look, we got Atlanta when they were playing their full team getting ready for Champions League, and that means they'll be ahead of us now. And look, we went through what that means in June and July, and May, June, and July, right? I mean, they'll be banged up a little while from now. So just like we in TFC were last year. So honestly, it kind of puts a smile on my face that the shoe's on the other foot now, and these teams got to put all of this energy now into getting ready by February. And so they should be ahead of us in February. And so just ultimately the result doesn't bother me. We got to look at a bunch of our kids. You guys know we're really excited about that. And we need to keep improving. Obviously, if the result's not acceptable at the end of the day, we have 3 games coming up in Tucson to rectify that. But again, I think we'll have a little bit tighter group, and hopefully this provides the guys with motivation to come out and continue to raise our level of play as we get fit.
a lot of the younger guys, the Defiance kids, were rooming with the veteran players. What was that like, having that connection between the older guys and the young ones?
Yeah, I mean, Schmetz is obviously a better one to ask about that because I wasn't there, and he can tell you how it went day to day. But I love the idea. You know, when he told me about it, I was super excited. You know, I think culturally, it's a big part of what we want to be, where we're looking at ourselves not just as a first team, but we're looking at ourselves as a club, as a soccer club, soccer organization, and who knows? Obviously, not all those kids are going to make it. Maybe not even most of them make it, but some of them will. And to have those kids and have them be around some of the big pros, I think is a huge benefit to them. And as Coach Schmetzer said, to the veteran guys as well, to give them a chance to mentor and incorporate these kids in terms of how we want to play going forward.
Tucker Bone returned to the Air Force Academy. What's his role going forward? What do you see? Are you guys looking to bring him back, or does that all depend on that world-class athlete program?
Yeah, as we've said from the beginning with Tucker, we need to get to a point where we can assess him over a long period of time. So that will not come until May when he graduates from the Air Force Academy. At that point, we'll assess where he is relative to first team, second team, etc. Once we make that determination, then we'll plan out what it looks like after that.
And Wrightston isn't here today.
I think he is.
Is he?
Here.
Yeah, I thought I saw him.
Missed him. Okay. You got Burkholz and Wrightston both still here. They're still in play for possibly a first team deal.
Could be first team, could be second team. Again, just to share how we think about when we go into the draft, particularly when you're picking outside of, say, the top 5 or 7 picks, we are looking at how do we build the depth of the organization. So we're going to try to take talented guys that maybe have a longer runway, are maybe more likely to start in USL, but guys that we think maybe have potential to come up. And so that's how we looked at those guys. And again, they'll have the same opportunity everybody else does. But the other dynamic is our worldview is you don't need to carry 31 players on the first team. And I don't think we have since I've been here. I don't think we will going forward. And so, we're going to have some roster spots open probably, and specifically open with a strategic purpose of waiting to see if these kids develop, and then have an opportunity where we can add one of them or 2 of them or 3 of them if they pop in the USL, because that's what happens with these young guys. They go 6 months here, 6 months there, and all of a sudden the light bulb turns on and everything goes. And we want to make sure we're in position to try to capture that as we go forward.